The facts, dates, and events presented in this video are from the members' best recollection and may not be fully accurate. This video is intended for entertainment purposes only. Always consult with your local union about your rights and duties at your workplace. The opinions shared on this video are our own and do not necessarily represent my employer's positions, strategies, or opinions. All views shared are protected under the National Labor Relations Act.
Hey, brothers and sisters, and welcome to the next episode of the Bi-Weekly Grievance. We have a lot to cover today, but first, I want to thank you guys. Thank every single one of you. My show is blowing up thanks to your participation. My last episode in 1 week had over 4,300 views, which more than quadrupled my highest previous rated show. And on top of that, I had nearly 100 more subscribers on the show over that same period of time, bringing me up to nearly 300 subscribers, which for a show with only 13 episodes is beyond my wildest. And I want to thank you, the success of the show. Please keep sharing and liking and subscribing to my show. I appreciate it. The content will be worth it, I promise you. That being said, I asked members, and I continue to ask members, please comment below the show on YouTube with any questions you have, anything you'd like me to cover. With that being said, I did have 3 questions presented to me, so I'm going to make that a priority on this show today. Steven sent me an email and asked me, can we lose our jobs over a strike? I talked about a little about this today on the What the Heck show. The difference between striking for wages and striking for what they call unfair labor practice strikes. Now, if we go on strike solely over wages, or as is being told, part-time wages, yes, they could continue to hire new employees, and my understanding is that they would become permanent employees. Not to say the majority of us would still get our jobs back, because there's no way they could replace 340,000 Teamsters in that period of time. But yes, we could lose our job. But that being said, we have very smart leadership in Sean and Fred, and they know way more than me. So if I know it, they know it. Any strike that happens at UPS, I guarantee you there will be non-economical issues tied into it. I know people are under the belief that all non-economical issues have been resolved and all that is tentative agreed upon and we're just down to wages. Well, I assure you that's not true. There are legal protections for a ULP strike, an unfair labor practice strike, which is exactly what our brothers and sisters at Amazon in California are doing. So, Stephen, your answer is no. There is very little to no chance you're going to lose your job if you get, because of the strike or because of lack of work after the strike. Now, as we go inch closer to a looming strike, there's a very good chance that the work could fall off and there may be possible layoffs, or if we go out on strike, especially one that lasts more than a couple of days, yes, when we go back to work, it's going to take time for the operation to come up to speed and to regain that volume. And obviously it's in UPS's best interest, as well as the Teamsters' best interest, for that to be a shortened strike. So if there is a lag in work, there could be temporary layoffs of employees when we go back from a strike, but would be brought back in seniority order afterwards. And with colleges going back after and heading into peak season a month or two afterwards, if anybody's still out of work after the strike, it would be short-lived. And I would assume you'd be able to collect unemployment because you'd be laid off. And then you would be able to come back shortly there afterwards. So the long answer is, there are extraordinary circumstances, but the short answer is no, Stephen. Very little chance you could lose your job, and none as long as everything plays out the way it should. That also leads me to my second question from Brandon. He emailed me and asked me if I had any information on subcontracting. Everything I've dug through, unfortunately, I've not seen anything about PVDs or subcontracting, other than there is some new language in the tentative agreements in the national that talks about sleeper teams, which is part of feeders, and any new subcontracting needs to be approved by the union. So a little disappointed we're not seeing more on that. But again, there's going to be some issues. Trust me, there's going to be issues that are going to hold up the strike in order to make it a legal ULP strike. As far as PVDs, I've seen zero language on that. I did hear a rumor, however, that there may be an agreement that PVDs would be allowed as long as our part-time Teamsters who currently work have first dibs at any PVD work before they have any outside hires. But that is sheerly a rumor. I've seen nothing in writing about that. So those are pretty big issues to not have much information on. So hopefully there's more to come on that. Sorry, I don't have more information for you, Brandon, but I did look into it. I also got a question from Mark, who was actually my own local, who asked, what happens if the strike starts, let's just say on August 1st at 12:01 a.m.? What happens if you're on the road? So like this particular member is a feeder driver who drives to New Jersey. He'll be about halfway to his destination if we strike at midnight. What I just read directly from the IBT and is included in the Strike Captain Toolkit, which I will link below in the show so you can read it for yourself. But the memo from the IBT says, for those who think they're just going to ditch their feeder truck in a rest area and call for an Uber, that is not what you're going to do, because if you do that, you're going to be in a lot of trouble, because just like the concrete decision by the Supreme Court trying to hold the Teamsters accountable for damage to vehicles or whatnot, if you leave it in a rest area and something happens to the truck, we're going to be in trouble over that. That being said, there's zero reason to continue with what you're doing. So, Mark, your answer is that you will U-turn as soon as you're notified that we did, in fact, go on strike. You will U-turn and return back to your home domicile with truck intact and hand the keys over with a witness that you returned the truck to the company in good standings. You will not proceed to your destination, which will be after midnight. You will U-turn and go back to your home domicile, and that is not a violation. It is not considered crossing a strike line. So that is the answer directly from the IBT. That is in the Strike Captain Toolkit. Further, today there was a call from the IBT with Sean O'Brien and Fred Zuckerman, although Fred had some connection issues, so there wasn't much from Fred. But Sean talked about a few things. Most of it we already knew about. There were some technical issues. The Zoom has a 10,000 person cap and 25,000 people registered for the call. So a lot of people were unable to get into the video. That video will be on the Teamsters official YouTube page, as well as the UPS app, UPS Teamsters app that I've asked you guys 1,000 times to download. That app will have the video attached to it, so you can go back and watch it. It's actually already there. Somebody asked a question about voting, if it would be in person, similar to the strike authorization vote. Sean said it will be at home voting, but did not say whether it would be. I've seen it done two different ways. I've seen it where you make a phone call, and when you get your mail at home, it'll have like a code that's directly related to you personally, and you can call in with that code to a number and then register your vote, yes or no. I've also seen it done with email, where you go to a website, you put in your code, and you vote. So Unclear exactly how that's going to happen, but it will not be in-person voting, which some people were concerned about because of the shifts at work and stuff. It will be from your home, whichever way they decide to do it. So he did answer that question. That was important. He also let everybody know that through the UPS Teamster app, there is a new icon that you could hit, which will have all of the tentative agreements on the national listed. It's not the exact language, however, which disappointed a lot of people, but it does list what they are. It gives you a quick summary of. Today, I actually participated with the What the Heck show on Union Power Radio, and there was a big discussion about July 5th, why that was so important, the date set by Sean O'Brien, and some people are under the impression that we also have weakened our stance on having a signed agreement by July 31st, or that we would walk. Sean today indicated that obviously if we have a tentative agreement going into August 1st, that we would continue working until it was voted upon. And some people saw that as a weakening of his stance on that. However, that is not the case. There are legal reasons that we have to continue working after August 1st if we have tentative agreements. Now, forget the legal stuff. Let's just talk. We would look very stupid walking out the door. We probably would lose public support if we go on strike while we have a tentative agreement, especially if that tentative agreement gets approved by the membership. It could be a game by UPS to wait till the last minute to kind of make Sean look bad. But if we end up getting everything we want and Sean recommends it, because you have to understand that a tentative agreement means that both sides, UPS and Sean, think it's a good idea, have agreed to it. If come July 31st, UPS proposes their last, best, and final, and Sean and the negotiating committee unanimously reject it as garbage, midnight, we're on strike. That's simple. That being said, don't walk off the job till the union comes into the facility and tells you we're on strike and walks out with you. Do not take it upon yourself at midnight just to walk off the job, because if for some reason we don't and you walked out, you're probably fired. So don't do that. And again, going back to Mark and his question about what happens if you're on the road, you don't turn around that vehicle until you're informed by your local that you are in fact on strike, and you will U-turn and bring that vehicle back to your home domicile. You will not deliver it to its destination. So that's a big thing to understand, the difference between a tentative agreement and a last, best, and final. Last, best, and final is not something we necessarily agree with, and Sean can put us on strike based upon the value of that. If he agrees to it, that's when it becomes a tentative agreement, and we would postpone a strike long enough for the membership to get the information, read the information, evaluate the information, and vote on the information, which he again assured everybody today would be about a 3 to 3.5 week process. So if UPS pulls a rabbit out of their hat and offers something that Sean and the committee can agree with at 11:58 p.m. on July 31st, we would be agreeing to extend the contract till sometime in late August, whatever that date would be, long enough for us to vote on the agreement or vote it down. Because remember, folks, Sean and Fred aren't shoving a contract on our throat. They removed the 2/3 rule, so we will still have the right to turn it down. If it's a shitty contract and we don't agree with it, even if Sean thinks it's the best agreement in the world, he will put his stamp on it and we will still vote it. And that's what Sean wanted. He wanted the members to have the ability to turn it down, because he's going to negotiate what he thinks he can get. But ultimately, if we turn it down, UPS is going to have to come back to the table and put more on the table. So keep that in mind, folks. We have the power, especially the part-timers. If you don't get your due, you control this contract. Rumors. I can't say this enough, guys. Rumors are going to kill us as a union, the good and the bad. If you haven't seen it in writing, it doesn't exist. I don't care what your brothers and sisters tell you. A good friend of mine called me up today, somebody who is in the know and is actually a business agent. I got a phone call saying that this person had heard a rumor that there may have already been a tentative agreement on the whole thing. It's a rumor. I highly doubt it's true, because why would Sean go through the theatrics of all the work he's putting in? I mean, this guy is relentless. He is out there. He has been on every news organization and podcast that I can think of. He has been out there beating the drum since July 5th. He's been on ABC, NBC, Fox, CBS, all these different newsworthy places, and talking about what is holding up the contract and what we need to work on, right? First of all, if there was some backdoor secret tentative agreement, guys, you don't think UPS would allow Sean to just go out and do this? If they had some secret agreement, UPS would be going to the media and telling them, I don't know what Sean's talking about. We already have an agreement. There's no way they let the Teamsters go out and trash the company for not sitting at the table and negotiating if they already had agreement. So I'm going to tell you right now, that rumor is bullshit. There's no way that's true. I believe that wholeheartedly. And if I'm wrong and it comes out later, I'll be the first to put egg on my face and tell everybody that I was wrong for saying this. But it's impossible that that's true. There's no way the company would allow it. And everything else you heard, all the rumors about how much animosity there is between full-timers and part-timers. Yes, some of it's true. All right. Not every Teamster is a good Teamster. And there are Teamsters out there that care about themselves only and could care less about the other classifications. But I'm telling you right now that it's not the norm. Okay. And I'm not going to say that some barns aren't more one way or the other. I know some people have told me that in their facilities that in general that's the rule, that full-timers and part-timers don't, agree on things, and full-timers don't care about the part-timers. That may be true also. But overwhelmingly, I'm telling you that we're in solidarity right now between the full-timers, the part-timers, classifications, everything. I've never seen anything like it in my 23 years with the company. So historically, maybe issues, certain barns, certain peoples may be true, but overall, we are on the right track, people. So don't let that stuff get to you. Job security, rumors, TAs, unless you've seen the tentative agreement, do not feed into the rumor mill. I mean, I wish there was more information. We're all complaining about that. Even I think that they could be handing. I mean, my New England supplement's been out, been agreed upon for, I think, 4 to 6 weeks now. And we've been told certain things about it, but there's been no written disbursement of the tentative agreements. And I know some of that is because there's stuff that's tied into the national that they can't solidify till afterwards. But I'm sorry, we should be seeing what those written agreements are, the actual language on it, so we can start evaluating it before we're on a time clock on voting on it. That's just my personal opinion. That being said, the things that we've heard have been pretty positive in the New England supplement. And some of the stuff on the national level sounds very good for the most part. But we don't know what the language is, so it's hard to really say how great it is or isn't. Jess Leigh did a great interview in Atlanta on the news. I will be linking that below so you can check out Jess's interview on Atlanta News. Teamsters 404 had their first big action of the contract. They did a practice picket here in West Springfield. I called my contacts at the local media, and our rally was successfully covered by ABC, NBC, Fox, CBS, and it was very well. It was a great day for us at 404. The members saw a great action. Our leadership was there, did an interview with the news, was very well covered, did a great job. A lot of member participation, a lot larger than I've ever seen. So good things at 404. I'm very proud of all our members and our leadership for what they did on that day. Since then, our local president also did an interview on a radio show, which was very well done as well. Kudos to him. He came out very strong and said a lot of great things in the interview. That was very well done. Strike Action Toolkit, I mentioned before, will be linked below in the show, so you can go check it out for yourself. There's also a link below in the description of a video that a news company was talking about how UPS is now training their supervisors and managers for deliveries. I mean, come on. That has got to be the funniest thing I've heard yet this season. I mean, come on. They're going to go out and try to clear out the system of the stuff that's in the buildings, but without feeders and without planes, because guess what? The pilots, even though they're in a different union, will be on the sidelines with us. They're not going to fly the planes while we're on strike. So how UPS intends on moving the products and making out like they're going to continue to deliver what 340,000 Teamsters did while they were on the job, it's crazy. So it's just a propaganda story by UPS to let the customers think that they're going to continue service. I hate to tell you, this is not even close to being true. They can't possibly do it. Ask anybody that was around in 97 how fast things came to a standstill at UPS. I mean, it was comical. So I'm going to link that below because it's funny as hell. You should watch it. Teamsters United has a petition that they're putting out asking UPS to come back to the table, demanding UPS coming back to the table and finish these negotiations. I'm going to link that below. You can check it out. Doesn't hurt to sign it, right? I mean, it could be enough members sign it, puts pressure on the company. So I encourage everybody to go check it out. Put your name on it. Hey guys, also I want to tell you guys about a project that I've been thinking about for a while, and I finally put it in motion. And it's an idea of kind of like a time capsule for people to look back at what we did in 2022 and 2023 leading up to this contract. Regardless of how it ends, this has been a historical time for the Teamsters. The organization, the new leadership, the new militancy, the demands on the company. UPS's head is spinning right now at what the Teamsters are asking for, and rightfully so. So I came up with this idea to take a map of the United States, and I purchased a 4 foot tall, 6 feet wide map of the United States. And my idea is to fill this map with actions that the Teamsters took to gain this historical fight. And I did a little video presentation on it. I'm going to play that for you real quick. Here's the action map that I just spoke about, brothers and sisters. I want to eventually fill in the whole United States with action photos. So over here, Southern Cal, I have the Tug and Mule show, I have the Strike Force, the Off-Clock Shop Talk, plus an action that took place in Covina, California. Along the edges are all the social media posts that has happened. Some funny ones, some regular ones. We got some action photos from Dallas-Fort Worth area, Salt Lake, Utah, Red Shirt Friday campaign, and North Dakota and Minnesota, Local 638. Some Chicago stuff, some Illinois stuff, TDU and UAW for out of Michigan. Up in New England, we got Maine, we got Massachusetts, Rhode Island, New York, my show, the Biweekly Grievance, the Union Power Radio and Upsurge podcast, TDU podcast, the Teamster podcast, Nationals, where all the action happens. Matt Cavagrati and his movement down in Tennessee. And North Hickory, North Carolina. The Roswell Hub. Our friend Jess Leigh. Action down in Florida in East Lake, Orient Park. But what I'm hoping to do is fill this whole map with pictures of Teamsters fighting for this great contract, as well as including social media posts that have been posted by the Teamsters over the last year. And memorializing this by having a professional photographer is going to come and take a picture of this map and digitize it for me. And I'm going to send it off to a union printer and make posters for everybody of this historical event. I'm not looking to make money off of this. It's something I came up with because I think it would mean a lot to a lot of people, something to frame on their wall that shows all the fight we put into this contract. The cost of it, I don't know yet, but it's basically, I'm not going to make any money. I'm going to charge whatever the printing cost per poster is. I'm going to come up with a basic shipping cost to anywhere in the United States, and that will determine the cost. So I'm going to come up with an average shipping cost, the cost of the poster, what it cost me to print it, and maybe add a couple of dollars just to recover my printing costs for the pictures and the poster and things like that. I'm not looking to make money on it, guys, I assure you. But I thought it would be a great souvenir, piece of history. I've never seen anything like it, and I think it could be fantastic. So if you have any pictures of your practice pickets, your parking lot meetings, your rallies, whatever you guys have done in your local or personally, email me pictures at the show to, which is biweeklygrievance@gmail.com, and tell me what city, state, and local you're from, along with pictures. Even if there's somebody in particular in your local, like Jess Leigh down in Georgia or Matt Cavagrati in Tennessee, if there are people in your local that have been outstanding all-stars during this, send me a picture of them with their information, and I will add it to this poster and memorialize their efforts in this contract. I've put on several podcasts on this map that I'm aware of. If there are more out there that you would like me to include, link their show in the email, and I will be happy to look them up and add them to it. Any podcast, I even included the Upsurge, which is not even a Teamster podcast, it is a professional podcast that has covered a lot of the strike issues, and anybody that's done anything to contribute to this fight, I want on this map. So make me aware of it, and hopefully this thing goes off the way I expect it to. I'm excited about it. I think it'd be a great thing. So let's see what happens. Thank you for your time, guys, and any thing you can do to help me out with this, I would much appreciate. Brothers and sisters, this has been another episode of the Biweekly Grievance. Stay tuned for all the videos. You're going to enjoy it. It was a lot of fun and a lot of information. So don't forget to leave me questions and comments below. Email the show with anything you want me to cover, any questions you have about the show, or if you'd like to come on. This is your stage, guys. You guys want to come on and talk about something? I'm all ears. Schedule time with me and we'll do it. All right. I appreciate all your time. I appreciate the views I've been getting on my videos. I've had over 788 hours of views in the last 28 days and up to nearly 300 subscribers. So keep hitting that like button, keep hitting the subscribe button, and let's get this done, guys. Historic Teamsters, man, this time is great. Solidarity forever, brothers and sisters. We'll see you soon.
Almost everywhere I go, I hear people talking about how bargaining is going between the Teamsters and UPS. There's a strike authorization vote going on this week. I've seen some things on the UPS website trying to discredit the strike authorization vote, saying it's just part of the run-of-the-mill process of bargaining, that it doesn't really mean anything. And I think they're sadly mistaken. There's a storm a brewing. The rank-and-file members of the Teamsters are organizing, and they're talking not just to each other, they're talking to their union siblings in other fields. They're talking to their union siblings in the public sector. Let me tell you, we stand with our union siblings in the Teamsters Union. Much like this storm that's raging outside right now, they're going to come rolling in and they're going to strike like lightning if they don't get what they deserve. People like me, educators, other types of workers, we're going to be out on the picket lines with them, supporting their fight for fair and just contracts, competitive wages, and safe working conditions. Solidarity forever.
Everywhere we go, people want to know, who we are. So we tell them, we are the Teamsters, the mighty, mighty Teamsters. Who are we? Who are we? Who are we? What do we want? What do we want? When do we want it? When do we want it? And if we don't get it, if we